Shagaramon story event in Digimon New Century. No one has been able to pass Ryugumon's test lately. To gain its recognition, one must allegedly possess an unwavering desire and determination to protect. However, even Hangyomon has failed to meet its expectations. Ryugumon has been in a deep slumber for some time, and the Crystal Palace gatekeepers have begun recruiting Twilight gatekeepers in its absence. Some believe water pollution may have weakened Ryugumon. Now dragon crystals can't be used. In the past, ancient Mermaimon used dragon crystals to navigate an underwater crisis, but Ryugumon never approved of this method. Meanwhile, Lanamon seeks to evolve into Ultimate to fulfill a promise made to a close friend, one about setting off on adventures together after reaching evolution. Since evolving without external power is difficult, Lanamon has returned to seek dragon crystals to trigger its evolution. Lanamon had previously left the Crystal Palace over a minor dispute with Penmon, who accused Lanamon of ruining decorations for a party Ryugumon had worked hard to prepare, believing jealousy over an invitation was the motive. However, Hangyomon clarifies that this was a misunderstanding. Lanamon had actually helped repair the decorations, not destroy them. Despite the obstacles, Lanamon managed to evolve into Kalmaramon without using a dragon crystal. However, this appears to be the limit of the data they can absorb. Perhaps this explains why some Digimon on the shore resort to devouring each other to break through their own evolutionary restrictions. But is this limitation imposed by Tianji? If so, does that mean only a godlike being can continue evolving without limits? Another question remains. Why does Metal Sidramon still take dragon crystals, despite already being at the ultimate level? Could these crystals possess properties beyond aiding evolution? Meanwhile, Penmon insists that no Digimon could possibly tolerate Lanamon's temperament. However, Lanamon claims to have a best friend, Impmon, who shared its love for pranks, but both were expelled from the village. Even after saving everyone from Skullgreymon, they were still blamed for the disaster. Huankunmon arrives at the Crystal Palace, announcing itself as a messenger of Tianji and carrying a message from Neamon. It claims to bear no ill intentions. The message is direct. Lanamon, I have fulfilled our agreement. If you are willing to come and see me, I'll wait for you at the beach in 3 days. At first, Lanamon denies knowing Neamon, but realization dawns. It's Impmon. Somehow it has already reached the ultimate level. But has it sworn allegiance to Tianji? In addition to this, Huankunmon brings another message, this time from Erlangmon, meant only for Ryugumon. However, since Ryugumon remains absent, Huankunmon refuses to share the contents with anyone else. Meanwhile, Wujie seems to have taken an interest in the situation. Then comes Penmon with urgent news. Waumon has detected traces of a Metal Sidramon army. With ancient Mermaimon still missing, there's no way to fend off such a force. Worse still, today was the day Kalmaramon was supposed to meet its old friend on the shore. Fortunately, it sensed something was off and returned to the palace before the enemy arrived. They proceed with their plan, keeping up the illusion that Ryugumon is still present. Even so, Kalmaramon sustains injuries before heading back to the shore. However, instead of finding its friend, it encounters Wizardmon, who is searching for a place to avoid trouble. Even Wizardmon acknowledges the shore has become a dangerous place. Penmon sees that Kalmaramon is not in good shape and follows it, bringing it back to the ocean depths. In the end, Kalmaramon never reunites with its friend. Perhaps it assumed Kalmaramon wouldn't show up after arriving so late. Huankunmon delivers a crucial revelation. Erlangmon already knows Ryugumon's true condition. There's no point in keeping up the facade anymore. What's more, Tianji is willing to protect the Crystal Palace, preventing it from falling into the hands of the Demon Lords. The Demon Lords are the ones controlling Wujie and the newborn army. Metal Sidramon in particular serves the envious Demon Lord, Leviamon. The only reason a full-scale invasion hasn't occurred yet is that Metal Sidramon remains unaware of the Dragon Crystal's true significance. But once Leviamon learns the truth, everything will change. Meanwhile, Neamon, who has already encountered its master, says Takutomon mistakenly believed it to be dead and carries guilt over it. However, Takutomon failed to recognize Neamon, leaving Neamon uncertain about whether to offer forgiveness. Seeking guidance, it turns to Shagaramon for advice. If Erlangmon is telling the truth, then Wujie may be an even greater threat than Tianji. The palace guardians cannot hold their ground alone. Even if Tianji has questionable intentions, at least Lanamon has an ally there. Determined to strike a deal, Lanamon sets off, only to cross paths with Metalsidramon, who had been lying in wait as part of Leviamon's scheme. Metalsidramon demands that Kalmaramon take it to the palace, but before it can act, Olegmon interferes. Unexpectedly, Olegmon claims that Barbamon sent it to take command, lacking faith in Metalsidramon's ability. They give Kalmaramon an ultimatum: surrender at sea or on the shore. Refusing both, Kalmaramon unleashes its Nero Corso attack and attempts to escape. However, against two mega-level opponents, it stands little chance. In that desperate moment, Kalmaramon undergoes a powerful transformation, evolving into its mega form, Shagaramon. The evolution is recognized by the Dragon Crystal. With its new form, Shagaramon wipes out the Demon Lord's minions and uses the ocean currents to conceal the Dragon Crystal Palace. For now, they are safe. With the palace secured, Shagaramon heads to Tianji, informing Erlangmon that Wujie has learned of the Dragon Crystal Palace's existence, but cannot yet breach it. Wujie remains hidden behind the newborn army, deploying only Digimon who are unaware of the greater truth, a strategy the Demon Lords frequently employ. Lacking the ability to fight underwater, Tianji requests Shagaramon's assistance. However, before making any commitments, Shagaramon insists on speaking with Neamon. When they finally meet, Neamon readily encourages Shagaramon to join Tianji, but Shagaramon has its doubts. It overheard Erlangmon and Takutomon speaking unfavorably about Neamon. Unwilling to accept things at face value, they set out to investigate the village where Neamon once lived, using Shagaramon's sea current gate for teleportation. Shagaramon and Neamon arrive at a long sealed location that Neamon and Takutomon had once visited. Using its abilities, Shagaramon summons a vast blue dragon from the seawater, flooding the entire cave. As the water settles, the sealed totem gradually emerges, carrying memories restored by the ocean currents, memories that do not require eyes to witness. In those swirling currents, Shagaramon sees the devastation of the digital world. Neamon reveals that Jesmon had once tasked it with investigating Wujie, but Erlangmon had opposed the idea. To ensure Neamon's safety, Shagaramon gifts it a dragon scale. If Neamon ever finds itself in danger, Shagaramon will be able to sense it, and should Neamon be at the seaside, will arrive instantly using ocean currents as a conduit for teleportation. Meanwhile, Erlangmon had foreseen this outcome. It had always known that Shagaramon would seek it out upon learning of the prophecy. The digital world will inevitably be destroyed. This future is set in stone. However, Neamon still has a choice. It does not have to be the catalyst for that destruction, as it will decide to abandon Tianji and ally itself with Lusmon to overthrow Erlangmon. With Leviamon's assistance, Neamon will seize the dragon crystal and reduce the ocean floor to ruins. Before Neamon departs, it reveals something crucial to Shagaramon. Jesmon and its allies have uncovered the truth behind the data shredding plan. Erlangmon does not simply intend to defeat the newborn army. It plans to erase them completely, along with the digital world they inhabit. For Neamon, this is unacceptable. It has decided to abandon Tianji in order to save the innocent Digimon before the plan is set in motion. With the newborn army possessing a significant naval force, safeguarding the Dragon Crystal Palace is of utmost importance. To counter this, Neamon and Shagaramon divide their responsibilities. Neamon will handle the battles on land, while Shagaramon will protect the sea. Before parting ways, Shagaramon makes Neamon swear one thing: no matter what happens, it must never join the newborn army. Upon returning to the Crystal Palace, Shagaramon finds Xiangpengmon waiting. Erlangmon had found an entrance. Nothing escapes its divine eye. Xiangpengmon had left Tianji after Shagamon's death, following the trail of clues it had left behind. It now suspects Shagamon's fate is linked to Ryugumon's slumber. The crisis plaguing the digital world, the diminishing data, is also the reason Ryugan fell into a coma. The dragon crystal, in its role of maintaining the seabed ecosystem, absorbs energy from Ryugan. As more Digimon evolve in the ocean depths, this energy consumption increases, weakening Ryugan until it can no longer sustain itself. However, Shagaramon's evolution is unrelated. In fact, Ryugumon's current state, though dire, has halted the loss of energy, allowing it to slowly recover. The dragon crystals are bound to Ryugumon. Each time a Digimon evolves to Ultimate, it consumes a portion of the dragon crystal's data, drawing directly from Ryugumon's own reserves. The dragon crystals are an intrinsic part of the seabed data, and their true power lies in their ability to absorb the data of other Digimon, a power coveted by the demon lords. Determined to awaken Ryugumon, they risk exposing the Crystal Palace by lifting the secret current, concealing it. The gamble pays off. The dragon crystal begins restoring Ryugumon's strength. But just as they glimpse hope, Huankunmon arrives with grim news. Erlangmon has initiated the data shredding plan. Neamon is heading to Tianji space to stop it, but needs Shagaramon to locate Jogamon, as it cannot defeat Erlangmon alone. Half of the royal knights are involved, and most of Yggdrasil's warriors stand with them. Lusmon had offered its cooperation, but Neamon refused. Meanwhile, Shangpengmon, though previously aiding Erlangmon, has chosen to withdraw from the conflict between Tianji and Wujie. Hangyomon urges Shagaramon to move the Crystal Palace for safety, but the immediate priority is preventing the destruction of the digital world. Seeking out Jogamon, Shagaramon learns of an effort to preemptively disrupt the data shredding plan. An internal conflict is being provoked among the royal knights and Wujie. Meanwhile, Jogamon is focused on stopping the 4 evil beasts. Then, a voice echoes in Shagaramon's mind. You have failed. You neither saved Jogamon nor the newborn army. Your friends will soon fall to Erlangmon. It's too late. You are no match for it. But you can still save the Dragon Crystal Palace. But Shagaramon refuses to be swayed. The palace is only a distraction. It won't be destroyed. Awakening to Penmon's voice, Shagaramon learns that Ryugumon and the gatekeepers are already engaged in battle against Leviamon. With no time to waste, Shagaramon opens the sea current gate, allowing Penmon to evacuate the smaller Digimon and secure the dragon crystal while it rushes to assist Ryugumon. In the midst of this chaos, Shagaramon reunites with Neamon, only to be confronted by Lusmon fall-down mode, who accuses Shagaramon of ignoring Neamon's plea for aid. But Shagaramon had gone to find Jogamon. It had done as asked, yet Jogamon had sacrificed itself to ensure Shagaramon's escape. And despite those efforts, Lusmon's subordinates had effortlessly tracked them down and now stood before them, ready to strike. To awaken Neamon's master, Takutomon, they need the dragon crystals. However, Shagaramon cannot sacrifice them for Neamon's master at the cost of its friends in the palace. They need them to survive. Lusmon tries to persuade Neamon to join its side, but Shagaramon insists that it shouldn't, as Erlangmon has already shown it the prophecies. Neamon represents the calamity that was once sealed away. At last, Neamon makes its decision. It will open a portal for Erlangmon. It intends to use its own life to ignite the digital core, its final move. It had planned to use this against Erlangmon, but now there is no such chance. Shagamon once took a similar risk, choosing not to destroy the 4 evil beasts outright. Meanwhile, Takutomon had always known Neamon was the one inside the seal, but pretended otherwise, out of pity. Neamon holds no resentment toward Shagaramon. Takutomon would never have wanted it to sacrifice innocent lives to save it. Neamon owes its life to Takutomon, and it will bear that burden alone. Since Jogamon was previously defeated by the 4 evil beasts, Shagaramon refuses to take the same risk. During the final battle, they sense data similar to Shagamon's. Perhaps that explains why Shagamon became an empty shell before its fight against Erlangmon. After the war, Xiangpengmon entrusts Omegamon with Jogamon's Digi-Egg, but Shagaramon never returns to the palace. The Digimon there speculate that it might be traveling with Neamon, and maybe when it grows tired of wandering, it will return for a visit.